Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Aalesh Avlani, the co-founder of CreditWise Capital, which is a lending platform for two-wheeler financing. Hi Aalesh, welcome to ELI.
Hi Priya, thank you for having me. Excited for the next half an hour.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Sure. Um, so a little bit about myself, Priya. I was finished my education in Boston, and then after that worked for a couple of years in private equity in Philly. Came back to India. I took the unconventional route of starting a fintech VC first. So I don't think many know this, but I started a fintech micro VC back in 2017 when the whole um micro VC space was just about scratching the surface. Early stage investment wasn't as hot as it is today. Did about 70 investments from that and saw amazing success there. Out of the 70, most important metric that the team today has been proud of, not a single has gone bust. And that is something very rare to hear in this space. First investor in companies like BharatPay, Dukaan, Liqui Loans, Rentomojo, a lot of these fintechs realized that time was on my side, wanted to get my hands dirty. So then got to do something in fintech, started my own NBFC CreditWise Capital. And that's my journey. That's my introduction. We'll talk more about CreditWise Capital through the course of this 30 minutes.
Sure. Uh, can you tell us a bit about what is CreditWise Capital?
Sure. So CreditWise Capital is in fact a digital NBFC. Um, it's monoline focused on two-wheeler financing. Why two-wheeler financing is a very complex decision as to how I narrowed down on it. But four main pillars was, oh, it's a secured product, it's high yielding, you get your 22-24% IRR on a two-wheeler. It's low ticket, about 75,000 per two-wheeler that you have to disperse. India is the biggest two-wheeler market in the world. And my biggest thing was majority fintechs shy away from two-wheeler financing because that doesn't fit in the into that gamut of being 100% digital. Two-wheeler financing can go up to 95% digital, but 5% will always be physical. That is why fintechs stay away from it, and it paved the way for me for CreditWise Capital as to why I wanted to do monoline two-wheeler financing.
Okay. Since you mentioned that most NBFCs shy away from giving two-wheeler financing, what is the reason and why you are so efficient at it?
So, and to give a quick backstory, so when I was investing from Samyak Capital, I had an opportunity to work with these founders. All of them were at like a deck stage, idea stage. While growing after working with them, I realized that ultimately, when you acquire customers, you have millions of customers, all these fintechs ultimately get into lending. Majority of these fintechs make money monetize via lending, and that was the inflection point for me, that if all fintechs ultimately are going to get into lending, why not start my own NBFC and be at the crux of this growth. um, Two-wheeler financing was some aspect, right, where customers need to go to your RTO registration, need for their product to be hypothecated, a couple of aspects that do not fit into the gamut of digital lending. So what fintechs focus majority on was personal loan, SME loan, other kind of products that did not require a lot of manual intervention, a lot of working with a dealer in between. So which is why fintechs were stayed away from it, and that's the opportunity I saw. That if they are shying away from it, that is something I can work on. That's something I can do better, and that is what we built at CreditWise Capital. That we wanted to disrupt origination, collection. I'm actually in the business of collection. If you, it's easy to give money. I can go to Churchgate and give 100 crores, but at the end of the day, how you collect it is most important.
Right.
So I'm in the business of collection, in fact. So collection and underwriting I kept just as value enablers, but origination is what I focused on to create value.
Okay. Um, Now give us a chronological view of the journey of CreditWise Capital. Uh, Tell us what was the first day of building CreditWise.
So about CreditWise Capital, first day was the idea came to me in mid 2018, August 2018. Wanted to do something to disrupt two-wheeler financing. I have always believed in this, that either do it if it's your passion, or do it if you think it's going to be a billion-dollar opportunity. Two-wheeler financing was not my passion, so obviously my thought of starting this was the latter. Um, Started the journey in August 2018, applied for my NBFC license, got it relatively quick. It was just me who started it, and I had one person who was with me, um, who was part of the core team at my VC, who joined me. And we both started it, made the application, applied for the license, got it relatively quick. We started with a two-member team, and today we are almost a 420-member team.
Okay. Um, Tell us what was the idea initially? What you thought of building in the first day?
First day I knew whatever I do had to be tech driven. I come from a finance background. I come from a background where I understand numbers. Technology, basic understanding of technology is my strength, but however, building stuff was not my strength. Hired someone to come build the core strength, to build the loan management system, to build the loan origination system, everything. The whole ethos at CreditWise Capital was to do business in a transparent manner, but in a quick manner. Today, average age of my customer is 27. This guy is a young customer, the digitally savvy customer. How do I incentivize him? How do I hook him into asking the dealer or talking about CreditWise Capital, his experience? That was the main reason as to how I wanted to do things differently. There are in this space, there are legacy players. There are your Bajaj Finance, your heroes of the world. These are those big giants today who are into two-wheeler financing. I had a similar, I had a completely different thought process from them where I do not want to make two-wheeler financing a service-oriented business. I just wanted to ensure that two-wheeler financing is product first. It's not all about get your bike and explore freedom. No, just because your father has it, your grandfather has it. No, you get your two-wheeler because you own it, you want it, and you get a sexy feeling when you sit on a two-wheeler. And how quickly you disburse a loan, how quickly and how well you service that customer was the reason as to why I wanted to start CreditWise and what were the first thoughts that I had while coming into office in the first couple of days.
Tell us about how you found your initial set of customers. How did you find and onboard them?
First set of customers, however cliche it sounds, I found at a dealership. My first experience was traveling to the tier one, tier two cities, sat at dealerships, understand what the plight of customers were, what were the differences between the 4 5 finances already sitting at dealerships. In fact, for the first 20 days, I behaved like a sales agent, and me and the other team members, first two team members, we both were at different dealerships trying to attract customers. And so that way we got an understanding of what customers deal with, what their thought process is before making a decision. So my first 25 customers were from sourced by myself at a dealership. Then slowly, steadily started building a team, started building the tech. I wanted to do things very differently, Now I do not wait for dealers to give me business. So two-wheeler, just for an average, for someone to just understand the average two-wheeler industry, is very dealer driven. The dealer decides who to give financing to. I saw that as a pain point. I said, if I'm giving money, why should the dealer decide who to give financing to? So what I said is, I'll change that model. I embed myself on all other fintechs.
Okay.
So, for example, there is Kootloot. It's a portfolio company of mine as well. But Kootloot, uh, any of the there are 5 million sellers, merchants on that platform. One of the biggest. It's like a Meesho, one of the biggest in the country. Any seller or buyer on that platform wants a two-wheeler. They
Mm-hmm.
get they get a banner saying, "Get your dream two-wheeler." He clicks on it, opens up my WhatsApp chat. I underwrite him via my WhatsApp bot. I underwrite this customer, check his ability to pay, and then if I ask him what bike he wants, suppose he selects a Honda Activa, I then take him to the nearest Honda dealer based on his location.
Mm-hmm.
I give him a sanction letter before he walks into the dealership. So all he has to do is go to the dealer, show him the sanction letter, and get his Honda Activa in less than 30 seconds. Now, what has happened is I flipped the model. Instead of dealers giving me business, I have started giving business to dealers and I started financing it.
Mm-hmm.
So dealers love me. And that way, I was able to scale it to 850 dealers pan India and about 35,000 customers. So starting from like 25, the excitement that I had when I got the first 25 customers sitting at the dealership to now 35,000 customers coming from tech tie-ups, I think the journey has been amazing.
Tell us about the different challenges that you have faced over while building and growing this venture.
So while there are pros of not being a legacy business and being tech enabled, there are also some challenges that I faced while starting off. This business has been dominated over years in an archaic manner by a lot of these big businesses, banks, bigger NBFCs. So starting off convincing the initial set of dealers about the presence of credit-wise capital, what is the value add you bring to them? Are you going to, if you are the one controlling customers, will you be a threat to these dealers who have been in this business for over 30, 35 years? Will you be a threat to them? So those were certain challenges I initially faced. Um, I was in a way disrupting the way two-wheeler financing takes place because I was controlling customers. Now that can be looked at in a manner that you're creating value to majority people, but today dealers, other players, that's something that they were not very comfortable with. So initially when I started, it was more about credit wise capital is a threat to their business. So today dealers were finding it difficult to accept what the value that I was bringing, and that was one of the biggest challenges we faced. But how we overcame that was dealers do not want to miss out on business.
Mm-hmm.
5 dealers onboarded me, and the dealer network is very small. So when those 5 dealers realized the value add we were bringing, that we were bringing customers to them to enable them to continue working and in a better manner,
Mm-hmm.
those 5 dealers passed it on to about 10 dealers. That 10 dealers, and it was a snowball effect from there. So I think that journey was, I would say, one of the hardest challenges we faced. But today, after I'm onboarding 850 dealers, I mean, it was the, I think the entire challenge was worth it.
Tell us about the collection part you mentioned. You said 95% can be digital, but there is 5% which is a really big pain point. So tell us how you are so efficient at collecting the EMIs and collecting back the amount from the customers.
So collection is the most important aspect. I think I've said it previously and I'll say it once again. That's like we also have a wall that says collection is king. Um, because you can use technology to whatever extent you want to use. You need to have a physical presence when you are in a business of lending, right?
mm,
You cannot have completely tech enabled collection because you're going to struggle if you manage to do that. Today, 95%, in fact, it's been 96% business of mine is digitally driven. What I have enforced is things like UPI 2.0, eNACH, account aggregator, all of those other aspects to help me enable the collection process. Once the customer bounces, right, if a customer doesn't have enough money in his bank account and during his presentation date, the customer bounces for his EMI, I follow up with him for the first 5 days of the month, saying you do not have adequate money in your bank account. For the next presentation cycle, please ensure there is enough money in your bank account. After the second presentation, if the customer still doesn't have enough money in his bank account, then straight away this customer is sent to my field team. My
okay.
field team then follows up with the customer, ensures that they are at his house in a manner um, that today he has time till probably 15th, 20th of the month to ensure his EMI collection is made. Not a single person in my team is trained for hard collection. Okay. I am a biggest believer that today's India is very, very focused on having a clean CIBIL, are really focused on improving their credit score. Because for an EMI of 3,000 rupees, if he continues to default, he
Mm,
will not be getting, this is the start of his journey, his home loan, personal loan, everything will get hampered.
right,
Lot of customers that take loans are not educated on that importance of CIBIL, educated on the importance of repaying back.
mm,
So anyone that joins my collection team goes through about 3 days of training process to make them understand that these customers are someone that you have to educate, you have to make them understand the importance of repaying on time. What we do through our app as well, Priya, is incentivize people for paying on time. You get hundreds credit wise capital coins if you pay on time, and you can encash these coins to buy things you like. So for example, a helmet, a headphone, something to service your bike. So everyone in credit wise capital is uh, made to realize customers are our friend and treat them in a similar manner, very different from how things work at bigger other companies.
okay. One thing you highlighted is the fact that the bigger NBFCs try to enforce hard ways to collect money. So, can you comment on the fact that the hard ways are effective, or how? What is the most effective way to collect uh, repayment?
There is no right answer or wrong answer. I believe in data. Um, Everything, at least at CreditWise Capital, is data driven. Obviously, there are intentional defaulters. It's not like we are going to let that customer go.
Mm,
um, we obviously follow up with that customer in a hard manner, where hard is very different definition at CreditWise compared to others. Here the hard is more about following up with the customer, understanding what has happened, tracking him, rather than reaching up to his house and harassing his family. I have enough confidence in my underwriting capability, which is why it allows me to take this approach. A lot of these other guys do not have that comfort in their underwriting capability. So they feel that their underwriting capability tech is not strong enough for them to completely move away from hard collection, which is why the difference between credit-wise capital and other businesses.
okay. Now moving on to the next part of the discussion, where we'll focus on your personal side of being an entrepreneur. Can you tell us how do you stay energetic and consistent over time? Uh, because entrepreneurship is a long and sometimes tiresome journey. So can you tell us how do you stay consistent and energetic?
I have had a lot of mentors, right? I'm the kind of a person who will reach out to someone and talk to them about how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, just so that I get a sense of calm to know that someone else is also going through in a similar manner or has experienced something like this. So I would like to try to do the same for your listeners right today. Tell them that it's absolutely okay to talk about your challenges, hardships with people who you feel have experienced a similar thing, successful founders. There has not been a single day at Creditwise Capital where I've gone back from work in the car and I've not thought about things that went wrong that day, things didn't go right in that day. As I said rightly, that either you are extremely passionate about your product or you believe your opportunity is a $1 billion opportunity, have only these two aspects, right? That is the only thing that will give you satisfaction as to why you want to wake up and come to work the next day.
Okay.
I try to make work as fun as possible. Um, I love football. I am an ardent, I'm a big fan, and all the office cabins in the are named after football stadiums. So we have your Emirates, you have your Old Trafford, you have a Camp Nou, all of those things. No one in the office is called an employee. Everyone's a team member, and basic things like that. I try to ensure that culture remains active, culture remains fun, because I come from a business where I'm in the industry where things can become a little monotonous,
Mm,
especially in the mid-level section, the operations underwriting team. For them, it's the same job every single day. So how do you keep them motivated? When you talk about my personal aspects, I believe that putting credit-wise capital, putting my team before how I feel, how I think is the right approach,
mm,
because I am responsible for a lot of people's well-being, um, what they make, how they are respected at home. A lot of team members face that challenge once they are at home. So I feel that responsibility to take it on myself. After that comes my personal life. That's a compromise I've had to make. I'm sure a lot of your listeners have also decided to make that compromise, that personal life will come second. I'm not someone today who's going to gloat about, yes, I have the perfect work life balance. There are Saturdays, Sundays where I end up working extremely late, and it takes a hit on your friend life, social life, your family life. And that is a choice I decided to make. I've seen, when I started investing, I'd seen that choice made by a lot of successful founders, and that was something I wanted to emulate. So it's not it, however glorious it looks from the outside, the founder's life, fundraising, raising your series A, B, C, there's a lot of hardship that goes on at the back end. And starting something is not for the for someone who cares a lot about their social relationships, because if you're not going to give it 100%, I would say the corporate life is your best bet. And there is not a good thing or a bad thing, everything has its pros. I just, for someone who has gone through this journey, um, personal life does take a hit. And if you want to build a successful um, company.
okay. What is the meaning of entrepreneurship to you? How would you define the term entrepreneur?
So the definition of entrepreneurship, according to me, is when someone jumps off a cliff, he thinks of building a plane on his way down. So that's my exact definition of entrepreneurship. So there is absolutely no right way or wrong way in an entrepreneurship. Your grit, your passion, your belief in your own company, and belief in growing with the right team is what is entrepreneurship for me. And there are different levels of entrepreneurship. Someone who starts uh, uh, D2C brand from the comfort of their home is an entrepreneur for me, and someone who starts a SaaS company with over 1,000 people is an entrepreneur for me. So there are different levels of entrepreneurship.
My final question to you. tell us about the different lessons that you have learned as an entrepreneur that we can take away and apply to our lives and our ventures.
Um, I would say biggest lesson, if you feel that you are the smartest person in your team, you have a wrong team around you.
Okay.
Be humble enough to build a team around you that makes you question every single decision that you make. And second is, if someone says no to you, you cannot take it on your heart. I have probably been rejected by multiple VCs till I found the right yes for me. It's not only about fundraising, it's about other aspects as well, when it's hiring, when it's about vendor management. If you are if someone says no to you, you are pitching to the wrong person. So get that very clear, that you have to do is find your one yes, and you will be on your way. You need to find one person that believes in your business the same way you do. And that's it. So I think the right team and finding your yes are the two biggest takeaways anyone can get, according to me. And that is some learning I would like to share to your listeners today.
Well, on this point, I think we have come to the end of this session. I think it was a great pleasure to have you here at ELI. Thanks for your time, Alice, and our best wishes for Credit Wise Capital.
Thank you, Priya.